Chatters. I'm Nat.
And I'm Kat, and welcome to the Crime Chat Updates. I am your forensic femme fatale, Natalie is your true crime addict connoisseur.
We're just two normal girls who obsess about dark crimes, evil minds, and occasionally the unknown.
And here's your disclaimer, chatters. The following Crime Chat contains adult content and descriptions of potentially violent scenarios today, so your listener discretion is advised.
You have been warned. Before we get in today's Crime Chat Updates, we are diligently planning to get ready for our Season 3 kickoff in November.
Yes.
But today we have a special edition of Crime Chat, and this is a case update.
Yes. We are going to give you some case updates from our Crime Chat episodes from Season 2. But before we get into those updates, I want to mention some of our Season 2 stats really quick.
Ooh, I love stats. Give me numbers.
Yeah.
Give me data, girl. Okay.
Yeah. So our top 5 episodes of the season, based on downloads from you, our chatters, starting with number 5, episode 61, The Case of Corey Richins. And that was 110 downloads, and we released that on June 24th.
Ooh, I'm glad you guys like that. Okay, good.
The 4th top episode of the season is episode 52, A Shooting in Kentucky. Shayna Hubers, and that had 113 downloads, and that was released on April 8th.
Very cool. All right, we're having a pattern here. Women, I think the chatters like to see murderous women. Okay.
And it's going to continue because number 3 is episode 62, The Arizona Torso Killer, a crime and cosmetics segment.
Oh boy, we have a problem.
That had 146 downloads, and we released that July 8th.
And that was Valerie Pape, right?
Yes. Valerie Pape. She owned the boutique, and she cut her husband in half. Number 2 top download of season 2 was episode 66, What's Ya Business? Taylor's Your Business. That had 148 downloads, and we released that one just recently, August 12th.
Yeah. She was in the business. She was in the news business for a while there.
Let's get down to business. And the top download of season 2 was episode 51, The Spy, Robert Hansen. It had 180 downloads, and that we released that earlier in the season, March 25th.
Wow.
So as of this recording, we've had 7,752 downloads. So thank you, chatters.
That's crazy.
That's amazing.
That's crazy. Almost 8,000 downloads in one season. That's crazy. Yes. Thank you, chatters.
Thank you.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, I hope you brought your updates today, Kat.
Yes, I've got 3 updates.
I got 3 too.
To go over.
So cheers. Here's to updates.
Cheers. Oh, and I'm rocking the Crime Chat with Nat and Kat wine glass that you can get at crimechatwithnatandkat.com. You can order it there. So get your wine glass, chatters.
Okay, so my updates, I picked 3. The first update that I'm going to do is not really an update on the case, but it's a Netflix update. So I know you and I both like Netflix. I love Netflix.
Yes. Not sponsored by Netflix.
Not sponsored. No. But we do watch. We do watch Netflix.
Yes.
So, quick question. Have you ever seen The Pale Blue Eye that was released in 2022?
Yes. I sure have. I think we talked about it last year. I was telling you about it. I think so.
What do you think? How do you like it? Wait, what's going on there?
I liked it. I thought the story was super ominous.
Yeah.
And dark. And I loved the character who played Edgar Allan Poe.
Okay.
I don't know his name, the actor, but how he portrayed Edgar Allan Poe was like...
You liked it?
Was so cool. I really did, yeah.
Okay. I got through like 10 minutes and I had to shut it down because I was getting bored. I'm sorry, I was getting bored, so I did not watch it. So I really don't have an update on that. Just want to let you know that it's playing if you wanted to see it. I know Kat saw it.
Kat saw it, and actually I was flipping through Netflix not that long ago, and I was like, oh, that was a good movie. I might want to watch that again.
Yeah, and it's based on, so The Pale Blue Eye is an American mystery thriller written and directed by Scott Cooper, which adapted it from the 2006 novel, which was also named the same thing. The plot follows a veteran detective, Augustus Landor, in 1830 in West Point, New York. He investigates a series of murders at the United States Military Academy, and he is aided by Edgar Allan Poe, which is a total switcheroo.
Yeah.
Which I really like because Edgar Allan Poe, we did that series, we did that episode.
Yeah.
And we kind of like, it's sometimes people forget that he gave us true crime detective work that we know today. Like when we love detective shows. We love all this stuff. And really, he started that whole, like, fictional storyline where, this is detective and all this stuff. Oh, and by the way.
Yes.
Your birthday just passed.
It did.
And Mr. Chris Hansen had a little happy birthday for you.
He did. That was freaking phenomenal. My mind was, like, blown. I was like, how? What? Is this real?
Adorable. First of all, wow, a silver fox. And two, his voice is just amazing.
He played that line perfectly. So go check out his new podcast on, what is it, True Blue? TRUBLU?
True Blue.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's the original, the OG To Catch a Predator. So,
basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
He started the whole thing in
did.
a kitchen. He would just invite people over. Oh, my God. So the other one that I really wanted to get to, okay, that I just watched, and I am totally in love with this, The Fall of the House of Usher. Have you ever heard of it?
I've heard of it, and let me tell you how. It's on my watch list, by the way. I haven't started to watch it yet. So, for chatters, if you don't know, I have been going through another master's program, getting my creative writing expertise so I can get to writing some of my own books. And one of the pieces that we were going to analyze last week was the original Edgar Allan Poe's The Fall of the House of Usher. So I read it. And, there's certain exercises and stuff that our professor had us do regarding word selections and how the transitions and, a bunch of the artistic things behind writing.
Right.
And I was like, okay, I wanted to watch The Fall of House of Usher already.
Uh-huh.
Now I'm literally just waiting for my husband to get off work so we can sit down and we can binge watch it because I gotta see it. And if I'll say this before you get into it, but if you haven't, it's not a very long. It's not a very long short story. It's a short story. It's not a novel, if you will. It's a short story, and it was actually part of a original like depiction or like illustration of a bunch of fictional stories. So like in this magazine of how it was released, it was one of the short stories that was included in there. And if you, of course, a lot of the literature of this classical writing style is a little bit different than what we would consider contemporary. So the verbiage usage, a lot of the diction and the syntax and how everything is kind of put together is different, but that's also perfection for that time period. So that's my 2 cents on that.
And Edgar was perfect. Let's face it. It was perfect. He was perfect. So the Fall of the House of Usher, Kat, I am just like in awe of this Netflix series. I think they give you a lot. So like every episode is an hour long. It's a limited series. So you only have like 8 or 9 episodes. But every single episode was just like, it was surprising, shocking, gut-wrenching. And you sit there and you're like, holy shit, I cannot wait to watch the next one. Like you're gonna watch the whole thing in one day.
Good. I want to.
Really good. So like, like the Fall of the House of Usher, I'm not going to get into the story. You're like, it's like you said, it's a short story. It was originally written for the Burton Gentleman's magazine in 1839. That's how old it is.
Yes.
And it basically, a real quick summary. The Poe story begins with an unidentified male narrator writing to the house of Roderick Usher, a childhood friend. So now in this story, they really like switched it up a little bit where they kept the story very valid and accurate, but they changed like what Roderick did for a living.
Okay.
And how it affects his family.
Okay.
And the decay of the family and also his mental illness. That's huge in the Netflix series. And they stayed true to Poe's story in that way, but brought it to like a modern.
Okay.
What would happen to us?
And did they talk about the sister?
God, yeah, the sister.
The sister was like.
All right.
Okay.
The sister, the actress they got for her. I don't know her name. I have to Google it. Okay, because but she is brilliant. You've seen her. They got an all-star cast. Well, actually, they kind of stayed true to the cast that was in The Haunting. What is it? The Haunting on Hill House,
or The Haunting on Hill House.
The Haunting of Hill House and
Okay.
then The Haunting of Bly Manor.
Yes.
They kept with some of the same actors
Perfect.
and actresses.
Yeah.
So you're familiar with them.
Okay.
But the Roderick and his sister are two totally new
Okay.
actors that came in, and they are brilliant. Madeline Usher is Roderick's sister. When he invites his friend over, his sister's already dead at that point. Everybody's already dead.
Right,
So
right, yeah.
it is revealed that Roderick's sister, Madeline, is also ill and falls into a death-like trance. And
It was consumption.
Was it?
I'm pretty sure. They didn't say it, but I think it was.
You think it was consumption? Oh, for the book. Okay.
For the book.
So now Camille in Netflix, she's played by the really so in The Haunting of Hill House, she plays the girl that comes out of the lake by the same actress that was that girl that was coming out of the lake. Mm-hmm. And then in The Haunting of Bly Manor, she was the alcoholic sister. Okay, so she's that stunning looking girl that really strongly resembles Angelina Jolie.
Yeah.
Like she
Yeah.
strongly resembles her.
She does.
So,
She does. Kate Siegel.
She's amazing. Amazing. Yeah. So yeah, I would say you have to go watch it. Please, please.
I know. Oh, I know. It's there. I'm just waiting. And I might run out of patience.
So my next update is the case of Corey Richins, which was released on June 24th. And you said it had 110 plays.
110 downloads.
Downloads. Oh my God. Okay. So some updates. There was a recent search in her jail cell in September. Mm-hmm. And this search revealed a 6-page letter to her mother, which Corey allegedly explains how her brother Rodney should go along with the story on how Eric was seeking out illicit drugs.
Okay.
So she was basically prepping the witnesses.
Yes.
She was prepping her brother and what to say and all this
Yes.
stuff.
I want to say I
Okay.
heard that on the news, actually. Mm-hmm. Sounds familiar. Okay, go ahead.
It's called Walk the Dog letter because in the top it says walk the dog. Like you're telling your husband to do something like its to-do list. After the letter was confiscated, Richins phones her mother from jail and, perhaps knowing that the conversation was being taped by authorities, explained that the letter was part of her novel and it was all fiction. She was just right. So she was trying to claim I wasn't confessing. I'm writing my next book. She's an author. We all know that.
her first book was how to help your children grieve with death and the loss of their father. Why wouldn't you jump to a fiction? I know. It's there. I see the connection.
Yes. Well, her lawyer claimed that he claimed in court that the letter was to be passed from her to her mother and then to her attorney. Therefore, it would be protected under attorney-client privileges. So they had no right to confiscate that letter, which
That's bullshit.
Thank you. I think that once you're incarcerated, you have no rights to your personal possessions. They could be confiscated at any time.
And that's the thing too, is you are 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, subjected to search.
Right. And I wonder
regardless
if this is different in every state for that. Maybe this is different in this state that prisoners have more rights to their personal possessions, because I feel you would know if prisoners have rights like this where they can kind of say, no, that's my pen. This is my pen. It's in my cell. One of the security.
Because even if you buy it at the commissary or the little corner store with whatever credits of good behavior that you have,
right?
You bought a pen. It can still be taken away because it can be used as a weapon.
Right. So you really basically are entitled to nothing, which you shouldn't be.
No. I mean, in any confidential conversations that you would have with a lawyer is done in a separate way. And that's when okay, Hamina, you now have 30 minutes to talk to your lawyer. Any conversations in between you and your lawyer or documentations that are passed, this is all confidential. This is your right.
Right.
But it's not I was writing a letter to my lawyer. But even if, so here's another technicality. Even if she gave it to her mother to give to the lawyer, that's not following confidentiality because there is no confidentiality between the mother and the daughter.
Right.
It's not, you can't use somebody else to get in lieu of. It'd have to go directly to.
Right. She's trying to be shady here. She's trying to be shady. The prosecutor, however, Nathan Evershed, told Newsweek that he says this is a bombshell defense. Like this is going to, this letter is basically an admission of what she's trying to do. She's trying to manipulate the witnesses. It's witness tampering, basically.
It is.
So
obstruction of justice. Yeah. I mean, you name it. There could be a lot of things that could fall.
Yeah, but you know what? Her defense attorney, like, they are just not convinced of this. Like, so the letter itself is called Walk the Dog letter. Mm-hmm. I tried to find the actual letter and I couldn't find the letter to read, and I guess because it's evidence.
Yeah.
So
probably. I was just gonna say it's evidence. They wouldn't be releasing it now. Come trial, they probably will. But
so basically, what it looks like she's trying to coach her brother in what to say about why Eric overdosed, or why he would have those drugs. Mm-hmm. And does coaching somebody on what to say raise the level of witness tampering? The former Salt Lake County prosecutor, Kent Morgan, said, not necessarily. Mm-hmm. If you have a potential witness in a case, whether you're accused or not, and if you want to kind of tell the witness, like, tell me what your what is your testimony going to be? You can have those conversations.
You can, and that's trial prep. And yeah, so I've gotten called into trial prep for both prosecution and defense side.
Right.
Whereas, like, if I was going to be called as a witness during a case, so you have a witness list, right?
Right.
Both prosecution comes up with their list of witnesses, defense comes up with theirs, and you would get prepped. Like, let's say I was testifying on behalf of prosecution, I would get prepped by prosecution, but I would also be then questioned by the defense prior to trial.
Right. Now,
so that would be considered, I wouldn't say coaching. Yeah, I mean, it could be considered coaching beforehand.
It is, but that's okay. Yeah. People want to be coached. Not that they want to be coached, but they want to know what they're going to get hit with.
Like, right. What should I expect? And that's why you do a lot of prep, let's say with prosecution or with the defense. Like, you do the prep ahead of time saying now.
Yeah, that's with a Juris Doctor. That's with an attorney. Not with the actual accused, though.
Correct. Yes, okay. You wouldn't do that. You would not. I mean, would the accused, if they were released on bail, be present during any type of coaching? Possibly. It's possible. Think of the Natalia, the Natalia, the child. The Natalia, the Curious Case of Natalia.
The Russian kid.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And in that documentary, the accused, the adoptive father, was in all of the prep because he was out on bail. So a lot of the trial prep and stuff going into trial, he was there for talking to some of the witnesses and the coaching and all the preparation. We want to stay away from this. We need to focus in on that, get the jury's direction to focus on this. It's all strategic. It's all strategic planning ahead of time.
So do you feel that the letter is fair game for prosecutors? Like, do you feel that?
Yes.
I feel that way too. I feel like anything that she does in that cell is fair game to be used against her. I just don't feel she's entitled to any personal possessions. I don't feel anybody in jail serving for murder is entitled to personal possessions.
Like I said, there's a time and place for confidential conversations and trial prep. There's a time and place for that. Having a letter... No. Like that you're saying, this is going to go to my attorney through my mother and my brother and these other 5 hands before it gets to the attorney. No, that's not confidential.
Exactly. And Medea said it the best. I don't give a damn, Corey. I don't give a damn. Bye, bitch. Bye.
You poisoned your husband.
Yep. Yes. A good man. A good man. Yes. A father of 3. Come on. Yep. So fucked up. She's such a... Oh. Anyway, moving on. So let's talk about the next bitch in the case. My next update is episode 66, which is What's Your Shabusiness, Taylor Shabusiness.
Let's get down to shabusiness.
So, as we know, on July 26th, a court convicted Shabusiness of first-degree intentional homicide, mutilation of a corpse, and third-degree sexual assault. She was sentenced to life in prison with a possibility of parole for the gruesome meth-fueled murder of her lover, and he was Shad Therian. Bailey did it.
She did.
Bailey Therian did it. So were there any differences?
Yes.
There were. What were the differences?
Yeah. The biggest one that sticks out to me was Warren, her husband. His last name was, it was something else like Sharon or something like that.
Okay.
And then when they got married, they said, we're going to change our name to, or it was Shaban or something like that.
Okay.
We're going to change it to Shabusiness because it's a meth business. And I was like, ooh.
I didn't know that.
I don't think we had that.
No.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was super cool. Super cool.
What else? What else did she anything different? Listen, we love Bailey, so when Bailey does something, we need to watch it. We need to, because she picks up on these little clues and these little tidbits that we love.
You know what she did do, which I thought was kind of super cute, is she led into her story talking about methamphetamines the same way that we did. And I was like, oh,
like, Heart, we love you.
But that's the only part of the story that sticks out that was different or new and additional information.
I definitely did not cover that. I didn't even know that. I did not know that. So thank you, Bailey. Did not know that. But because we did it, because Bailey did it, I figured we don't need to go over the story again, beating a dead horse. I'm just going to go over 5 things that you may not know about Taylor Business, or that you may need to be reminded about how evil this person is. Okay? Number 1, Taylor Business told police, "I can't believe I left the head, though."
Yep.
Okay.
I totally forgot about that.
I totally forgot. So while she was being interviewed by detectives, Shabusiness said, "Damn, the head. I can't believe I left the head."
Yeah.
And where was the rest of the body? Shabusiness said police were going to have some fun trying to find all the organs as she dismembered the body. As we know, she shoved parts of the body in her truck. Mm-hmm. She shoved parts of the body in a bucket. She basically, I think she said that she blacked out, but we both know that there were a lot of drugs involved. And even if there weren't drugs involved, she is suffering from some serious delusions and mental health issues. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and we covered that in our case about like what the psychiatrist was saying during trial.
You know what Stephanie told me today?
What?
Is that the side effects of a chronic methamphetamine user include psychiatric diagnoses such as bipolar disorder. Mm-hmm. Like, it can induce mental disorders.
I could see that, yeah.
Yeah. I was like, whoo, shout out Stephanie.
Yeah. Thank you, Stephanie. I could definitely see that. So now, so one of her excuses why she left the body parts like in the car and in the bucket and all over the place and she forgot the head is because she basically got lazy. So
I was tired.
She was coming down from her meth high, basically. But she did tell detectives that, she used a bread knife because that works best.
She tried a bunch of different knives from the kitchen, but the bread knife worked the best.
Yeah. And you know what? Yeah. I agree. I like my bread knife, but not for a body.
I love my bread.
Number 2, Shabusiness said she strangled the victim with a chain as part of a sex act.
Yep.
She became crazy because of the drugs and continued to perform sexual acts on him after he was dead, according to the complaint. Mm-hmm. Now, that is probably, it sends shivers down my spine thinking about that poor man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah. Number 3, Shabusiness had previous arrests and charges, including fleeing and eluding officers, felony bail jumping, possession of drug paraphernalia, resisting an officer, battery on a law enforcement officer, and operating with a suspended license. So this girl was a common offender, frequent flyer. The cops kind of knew her already and her issues. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Knew she was a meth dealer.
She was a meth. She had Shabusiness. They knew her Shabusiness.
They knew her Shabusiness.
Mm-hmm. Number 4, Shabusiness is married and has a newborn son. Her husband is in jail on unrelated charges.
Well, meth charges.
Yeah, but unrelated to this case.
To the murder.
So, Shabusiness' husband, her husband has a Facebook page. And on his page, he calls her Queen Taylor Shabusiness. I think we went over this in our case, but I just want to go over it again because he's as delusional as she is. He wrote, "I do trust my beautiful wife. I do anything to protect her. Stay strong, baby boo. I love you." They have been together since, according to him, since 2017. And according to like the Facebook posts and like when they were like, "Oh, status change, we're in a relationship," type of thing. So Taylor's last public Facebook post was on January 13th, 2022. She wrote, "Went off and told an addict, I'll never stop buying you dope so I could sit back and watch you die." Do you think she was speaking to Shad? About Shad? Or
I mean, it's possible, but I could totally see her going, "I'll never stop buying you dope so I can sit back and watch you die." Yeah. I could see her telling that to anybody she sells meth to.
True. That is true. Yeah.
I mean,
she's a bad. This is a bad case. This is Dahmer level bad. She's like the female Dahmer.
I mean, with fortunately only one victim.
Thank
But
God.
she's Dahmer level for sure.
Definitely. God,
She didn't eat him.
Yeah.
But,
You know something though?
Everything else.
I think Dahmer was more calculated than her. I think she was just really unhinged and off the chain. But I don't think she was as calculated, and I don't think she was as smart as Dahmer. Where Dahmer kind of made friends with his monster. I think Shabusiness just released hers, basically. You know. All right.
She said, "As long as I'm high, I'm fine."
I'm fine watching you die, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Number 5, Shad Theron's family says he was taken from them by what I can only assume is a monster.
She is a monster.
She is a monster. His uncle wrote that on the now deleted Facebook post. For some reason, like, why would it be deleted? Was he getting bad comments?
Probably. I could totally see that. The way people are today, going after Shad's family for whatever reason, saying, well, maybe he deserved it, or he was the one who asked for it, or something so,
Fucked
like,
up.
yeah, like, so negative and just, like, demeaning to the family. Like, people have no respect at all. They have no respect.
Fucked up. He wrote, "You had such a good heart and soul, Shad. I love you so much, and I can't even begin to describe what we are feeling. I really feel bad for the family because not only did they lose somebody, but they lost somebody in the most horrific way possible. You know that Taylor just destroyed him. Yeah, it just really,
Yeah.
During the Shabusiness trial, her first court appearance, Assistant District Attorney said, I think the facts alleged are extremely concerning and disturbing and go to the violent nature and grave nature of the offense. Bail was set at $2 million.
I'm surprised it was set at all.
Well, yeah. You know what? You're right. They shouldn't have. Why did they set her bail if they knew she was that much of a psychopath?
Because she was going to do nothing but go out and get high.
Yeah.
And potentially kill somebody else.
Right. But they should. You're right. They shouldn't have even posted any bail.
I wouldn't think so.
Prosecutors, well, this would explain why the bail went so high to $2 million. But once again, like, why even post bail? Because the prosecutors were saying that she was a flight risk from the beginning. She had at one point an electric monitoring device on her ankle, which she cut open during her 2020 convictions. So she was a flight risk. Like, why even give her the opportunity for bail? Right. I mean, you don't know how many drugs she sold. Maybe she did have $2 million set aside.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think it's possible, but, like, I don't think she's that smart with her money.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So that's my updates.
Yay.
So what do we get from my updates? 1, what are you going to watch tonight, Kat?
Well, it's going to have to be tomorrow when the husband comes home. So The Fall of House of Usher.
Thank you.
Number 1, The Fall of the House of Usher. You're welcome.
Okay, thank you. Because we just released a TikTok that was a SNL skit.
Sweater weather.
Sweater weather. That is so us. I'm sorry. That's us.
It is. It's perfect.
Okay. Perfect. Awesome. So I'm ready for your updates.
Okay. So I've got 3 cases. Also, the first one we're going to do is from bonus episode 42, and that was the New Year's Eve crimes, the episode that came out on New Year's Eve day of 2022. And if you recall this story, it was Jasani Carter, now 21, and Jordan Ruby, who's now 19. They were accused of committing murder and robbery in Las Vegas on December 31st, 2021, in a violent shooting spree. Both men are currently being held without bail. Charges of the murder include 66-year-old Clarice Yamaguchi and 60-year-old Hayo Suum. There's also 13 charges in total. The men are being charged with 1 attempted murder in addition to the 2 murders, 1 attempted robbery, 4 counts of robbery with a deadly weapon, and 5 counts of conspiracy to commit robbery. So that's actually the all-inclusive of all the charges.
Okay.
In jail, Jordan Ruby, the younger one, he told his mother on a recorded call from the jail that they just went to Las Vegas to make money, basically, a.k.a. rob people, but they just went about it in a quote-unquote dumb way. Like, let's not do that. It was dumb, Mom. I'm sorry. Prosecutors say that Carter also allegedly robbed a California woman in March of 2021 and robbed a California jewelry store in October of 2021. So they're adding to Carter's charges as well. Now, the defense attorney for Ruby did file for the case to be dismissed. However, prosecutors are seeking the death penalty for both men. And trial was supposed to be this year, but it is now pushed to 2024.
So I guess Vegas has the death penalty. I didn't know that. Interesting.
They're seeking it.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. we're going to need another update. We're going to need another one. Okay.
So we'll follow up this one next year. Oh, I guess in season 3. Mm-hmm. Okay, my second case update is a Crime and Cosmetics episode, The Uber Killer. This was the episode where we had our very first guest.
Yes,
Paul Dow.
Paul Dow.
And he was in Kalamazoo, Michigan
yes.
at the time of the Uber Killer murders, February 2016.
Paul gave us some real, insight to what was going on in the community at that time and, what he was seeing while the crime was going on and unfolding and how the police were reacting and what was he seeing on the TV, because we're states away.
He was at that car dealership an hour or two before the son and father were killed by the Uber driver.
Yeah.
He was there, within hours at the same dealership.
That's crazy.
So in February 2016, Uber driver Jason Dalton fatally shot 8 people in a killing spree in Kalamazoo, Michigan. 6 were killed and 2 were injured. Dalton said that it was a quote-unquote devil head that had appeared to him when he opened the Uber app to accept rides, or to accept jobs, essentially. Some witnesses and survivors of the rampage said that Dalton was driving erratically, speeding, blowing through stop signs, even driving into oncoming traffic, while others say he behaved normally. So I don't know, some of the writers were saying he was fine. Some of the writers were saying this guy was cuckoo nuts.
Right.
Many of the writers didn't know Dalton had a gun underneath his coat that night. Dalton pled guilty to 6 counts of murder, 8 felony firearms charges, and 2 counts of assault with intent to murder. Dalton is serving 6 life sentences without the possibility of parole. Do you remember back in the story, the very first guy who called about Dalton? His name was Matt Mellon.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. He was one of the first to report Dalton's erratic driving behavior to Uber. Well, Matt Mellon filed a lawsuit against Uber in September 2021, claiming that Uber did not have the 24/7 incident response capabilities that they indicated on their website. Part of this lawsuit says, quote, "The guilt kicks in for Matt Mellon, the reliving of the events of that day and night in excruciating, painful detail. The feeling of total helplessness, the sense of being thoroughly defrauded over there being no way to connect with Uber and stop Uber driving, the Uber's driver's crimes, the shootings, the killings," end quote.
Yeah.
So this lawsuit is actually still ongoing, and Dalton is still in jail, of course.
Yeah.
So, well, not completely tied to this case. There's not really a whole lot of case updates with this other than this ongoing, civil suit.
Okay.
But somewhat related, I found way too many cases that were related to Uber and murders.
Really?
I was trying to search for case updates to see if there was anything out there when I was getting ready for this, and I found too many, so many different Uber-related murders or violence. And I'm going to go over a couple of them.
You know something? Just a little, before you go into the other cases about this case, I remember when Paul said he kind of had this conspiracy theory, well, not conspiracy, but a theory about what happened to him, where he said, well, maybe he was either leaving his wife or maybe something was shady about that.
Yeah.
You know, there was something very off about that. And I think you would have to go back to the episode to hear Paul's, description of what he thought the theory, but it was pretty damn spot on.
Yeah, yeah. And I think they are divorced now. His wife did divorce him after all of that.
I hope so.
Because he was also using her as an alibi, if I remember correctly.
That's right. Yeah, and his 5 cars.
Who the fuck has it? Oh, God, yes. So, in April of this year, an MS-13 gang member, Oscar Solis, was arrested for dismembering an Uber Eats delivery driver outside of Tampa, Florida.
Oh, boy.
Solis was also attempting to rob the Uber Eats driver. When police went to search for the driver at the last known delivery location, they found the victim's dismembered body inside a trash bag that was in Solis's home. So the police knew that the driver went to this house. He hasn't been heard from, so police, of course, respond to the last known delivery address, and they found his body dismembered inside this house.
Oh, boy.
Well, not originally identified, but the affidavit did say that he was 59-year-old Randall Cook. Solis also allegedly drove Cook's car and abandoned it about a third of a mile away from the house, so, that kind of shows covering up something, even if it was an accident, quote-unquote accident.
Yeah.
Police.
How was that an accident?
I don't know.
Dismembered the body. I accidentally removed your leg. I'm sorry.
Well, that's what Valerie Pape said. I accidentally shot my husband and I had nothing else to do but cut him up.
Girl, that girl not only dismembered her her husband's body, who weighed probably 3 times her amount because she was a
Right.
twig, but she did it in heels. So
She did.
Valerie
And
Pape, like,
her stilettos and jumpsuit.
she's a different level. She's
Yeah.
a different level. Sorry.
So Solis went and parked Cook's car away. Police also added a charge to Solis's affidavit saying that he failed to register as a felon, which was a violation of his Indiana parole. So he was from Indiana, moved to Florida, never registered as a felon. So they added that onto his charges. So his trial is pending.
Okay.
So June of this year, 48-year-old Phoebe Copas was charged with murdering her Uber driver, Danielle Pedra Garcia, 52, of El Paso, Texas. Copas falsely believed that the driver was going to kidnap her and take her to Mexico because she saw signs for Juarez, Mexico, on the road. I don't know if y'all know this. El Paso is very close to Mexico, so you're gonna see signs. Copas was visiting from Kentucky. Apparently, she was not familiar with how close it was. Her trial is scheduled for February of 2024.
She killed her Uber driver because she saw a sign from Mexico.
She's like, he's kidnapping me. He's taking me to Mexico. She freaked out, so she killed him.
Oh, my God.
Initially, I don't think she thought he was dead, but of course.
Oh,
You shoot
man.
somebody in the head. I'm just saying.
Oh, man. Oh, man, no. Oof.
So, same month this year, June, also in Florida.
Oh, God.
Hollywood, Florida.
No.
Uber driver Christopher Bernadelle accepted a rider, 19-year-old Miles McGlashan. Some sort of argument ensued regarding a change in the location or cancellation of the ride of the fare. So they got into some sort of altercation. The driver said that he shot the rider, McGlashan, in self-defense, the 19-year-old. The state did find the self-defense excuse plausible, and they dropped the charges in relation to Florida's Stand Your Ground law.
Oh.
The Uber driver was probably like... It was probably something procedural to do with Uber. Like, I followed procedure, and then the 19-year-old got... And not to blame 19-year-old, but there was an altercation.
Yeah.
And he said that he just was defending himself, and he shot him, and he died. The 19-year-old died.
Yeah, Florida's got some problematic ways about it. Like, we just this past July, we had just literally in this county, like not far from where I live, fireworks were going off. A father came over to his neighbor's house, somebody he lives next door to tell them, don't fire fireworks going towards my house. The guy, I guess, was a little intoxicated, saw him approaching him, took his gun out and fired, and he is kind of getting off on the Stand Your Ground law.
Okay. I think it depends on how you present it. Was he going over there heated and, like, approaching this guy's property? Did they have a history? There's, like, probably a lot more to that because
He was
just going
probably
over to your neighbor's
aggressive.
house, going like,
No.
hey, man, can you stop just doing that? I don't want my grass to catch on fire, whatever. And the guy be like, no, blah, blah.
Yeah, I think it was aggressive. I think it was an aggressive altercation, but there were kids present. There were kids from both sides present. And the guy just took it there. He just got his gun and didn't ask questions and just shot. Like, you're on my property. You're fair game. And it's unfortunate, but
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Well, our final Uber story, not the final one of all, but the final Uber story I'm going to talk about is in August of this year in Seattle, an 18-year-old woman confessed to murdering her Uber driver and then stealing his car to go get her hair done. The driver, 52-year-old Amari Gita, was shot after he stopped along the curb to pick up his fare. Her name is Nalena Allen Bailey. She was caught a few days later driving around his Prius. Originally, she said that Gita attacked her, but then she recanted her story. She changed her story a couple times, which is super weird. The gun allegedly used in the shooting was found under the driver's seat when they pulled her over and found her in the car. And it was, quote-unquote, heavily soiled with what appeared to be blood. Allen Bailey did not appear in court for her first scheduled appearance. She has been booked for first-degree murder. Prosecutors may also charge her for second-degree murder assault. She allegedly admitted to detectives during her interview that she pulled a gun on a Washington State Department of Transportation worker, so like a construction guy, who confronted her and two others about tagging graffiti in a transportation tunnel. Like, maybe they were doing some like graffiti or something on there, and then she said she allegedly confronted this guy and saying she pulled a gun on him when the guy working tried to stop them from vandalizing the tunnel.
Are you kidding?
Stupid. Yes. So this Department of Transportation employee was assaulted by the other two people present. And either way, they or Alan Bailey, they took away his phone, took his badge from his pocket. Regards to the Uber driver, she is pending trial now to killing Amari Gita.
Oh my God. That's crazy. So this all started. This can't be a normal haircut. I mean, this has to be extensions.
Well, I mean, she was going to get her hair did. I don't know.
I was going to say, it has to be like, this better be some serious extensions, girl. No,
Isn't
not
that
clip-ins.
Isn't that why you hire an Uber to drive you?
Yeah.
To go get your hair did?
Right.
You ain't got to kill him and
You
take his car.
don't kill your driver.
Jeez.
You need your hair done. Come on, girls. Come on.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
So there are some crazy stories out there having to do with Uber. I just happened to find that really interesting to follow up with our Uber driver story.
Yeah.
Kind of the OG Uber driver killer.
Yeah.
But the last story I'm going to go over is from bonus episode 55, our named crimes theme we did last year, Chris Crimes. I'm going to go over a little bit of updates for Chris Watts.
Oh, boy. Oh.
Just to summarize, in August of 2018, Chris Watts strangled his wife, Shanann, who was 15 weeks pregnant, and then smothered his two daughters, Bella, 4, and Celeste, or Cece, 3. Since his conviction, Watts has been spending his time in prison as a custodian at the Dodge Correctional Institution in Waupun, Wisconsin. He also maintains active correspondence with several women who believe he is innocent. One letter read,
Girls.
quote, "In my heart emoji, you're a great guy," writes Candace. "If you do write me back, I'd be the happiest girl alive. That's for sure." She punctuated the note with hashtag Team Chris, hashtag Chris is innocent, hashtag I love him, and hashtag too cute, end quote. And that came from an article.
Girls. Come on. Make better choices. Bailey, make better choices. Get better idols. Come on now.
Now, in a separate correspondence, Watts shared the gory details of murdering his family to one of his pen pals. Her name is Sherilyn Cadle, and this is in a new episode of Lifetime's Cellmate Secrets TV series.
Oh, I didn't see that.
He told Sherilyn, quote, "He told me he would daydream about killing Shanann. She would be yelling at him or be upset about something, and he wouldn't fight back. He would just stand there and just daydream about what it would be like to kill her," end quote.
What the fuck?
He wrote that to his pen pal. Crazy.
Yeah.
Watts also is alleged to have grown close to another inmate, Dylan Tallman, who insists that both he and Watts are innocent. Both men apparently found religion behind bars and jointly self-published a prayer book called Revelation in the Reckoning in 2021. Now, okay, one prayer reads, quote, "My past is a blueprint and the devil the architect. While I watch his fallen ones build stone upon stone every day, I see these walls as insurmountable, a barrier that blocks me from enjoying your love, your peace, and your joy, O Lord," end quote.
Girl.
Watts pled guilty to avoid the death penalty and was sentenced to 5 life sentences plus 48 years without the possibility of parole. Rest in hell, Chris Watts.
Bye, bitch. You know,
Bye, bitch!
why is it why it's crazy. It's like when, if we, oh God, maybe possibly this season 3, we'll go over a serial killer who is female, a Warrenos. You know, like, it's weird how, like, women are more aggressive to the fact that, yeah, I did it, I killed him, you can't do anything about it, where men are, like, more self-righteous and, oh, that was me yesteryear, and I am, listen to me now. You know, it's just the self-righteous that just makes me feel more disgusted about this man.
Didn't Eileen Wuornos also claim to found religion and was asking for forgiveness right before her execution?
No, she just asked for a coffee.
Well, I mean, not like right before, but there was a couple of interviews that I saw in the female serial killer class that I took, I was telling you about, that she was basically showing
remorse
for it.
She might have been, because I truly think that, and we'll get into it, but I truly think that with her, that was a combination of trauma, emotional abuse, physical abuse, childhood abuse. I think it was just so wound up into so many things on top of having no what do you call it, executive functioning in her brain to be less impulsive. I think there were a lot of things going on with her. So yeah, I truly think that Eileen probably could have felt more authentic remorse than fucking Chris Watts. I think Chris Watts is probably more of a manipulator, and he just wants. Because he wants to feel like he's like
It's
Ed Kemper.
It's all about image.
Ed Kemper.
It's all about image.
Yeah. Ed Kemper wanted to be the smartest guy in the room. Ed Kemper didn't want to be told what's wrong with him. Ed Kemper wanted to tell you what was wrong with him and why you should listen to him.
He was actually smart, though. He
Okay.
wasn't. He was legitimately intelligent.
Brilliant.
And he had the IQ to back it up.
He did.
So
He did.
I want to see what Chris Watts' IQ is.
Oh, God. It's probably like this.
Wisconsin.
It's probably
Like, can we get an IQ test done on Chris Watts, please? Thanks.
It's probably 3 inches. Sorry, not sorry.
Oh my god.
Oh
Well,
my God.
okay, guys, that wraps up our season 2 case updates. We are diligently preparing for season 3, so
Yes.
don't forget to follow us on all of our socials: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok. See what we got coming up. We're going to have some teasers coming up. We're going to kick off season 3 on November 11th.
Yes. So remember, Crime Chat with Nat and Kat, when you become a chatter to our Patreon, you'll have access to bonus episodes, behind the scenes, bloopers, free merch, and check out some merch in the works for season 3.
Yes, and like I said, November 11th, season 3 kicks off. Our theme this year. Do we want to release it?
Go ahead.
Female serial killers
girl.
is going to be our theme for this.
gonna be-
for this season.
It's going to be juicy. Like,
Oh yeah,
girl
we just gave you a little teaser.
girl power.
but there's more.
in the wrong direction.
I don't want to be associated with that.
No, when girl power goes wrong, that's what happens.
When girl power goes,
So, yeah, you don't want to miss it.
you don't want to miss it. We'll see you guys season 3. Bye.